ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणम्। हरे कृष्ण। We'll continue the discussion on how to be free from the 10 offenses and then come to the state of Namavas and then eventually come to the state of Shuddhanam. 9, to instruct a faithless person over the glories of the holy name. This is a little tricky and we should be very careful on this matter. What does it mean to instruct a faithless person over the glories of the holy name? For example, person doesn't agree. There's atheistic mentalities in the heart. It's kind of envious towards the Lord. For them, never, never, ever tell the glories of the holy name. Especially when we are meeting new people, one shouldn't disclose that because they feel that it is an exaggeration. Just using like big, big words, actually, it is the moment they think that they're exaggerating, then that's an offense. Not for that person, for us, because we are telling it. When somebody tells, whoever is new shouldn't disclose the glories, should just tell, come to the place. We all come together. We all chant Hare Krishna. We also join us. That's how it should be expressed. One should never express the glories of the Lord. Because the faith is not strong. So when the faith is not strong, obviously, they'll take the process as light. Because they don't know what is the holy names. They don't know who Krishna is. They don't know what his position is. So we should be very careful in this offense, especially with newcomers. We should never, never disclose the glories of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So the bhajan which we sing, which we sung today, one should not sing these kind of bhajans in front of people who just came to the process for the first time. They're like newcomers. They kind of feel that what's going on. They do not have that understanding. It's not their problem. They do not have right awareness. That's all. It's nobody's at fault. But we need to understand what we need to do. So the moment we do that, we're actually protecting oneself. And even we were discussing about this yesterday, appreciations. One should appreciate genuinely from the heart. Not that this appreciation will help me move forward in Krishna consciousness and then I can appreciate in whatever way I want. No, that's also incorrect. Appreciation has to be from the heart. Genuinely, one should do that. If one sees some good qualities, one should know those qualities and then tell. Because it is neither helping that person, neither helping us. Because it is not on a truthful plane. Brahmaji, when he came out of Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, he was finding what to be done. He's trying to figure out what should I do, what should I do, what should I not do, figuring it out. He didn't have no idea what to be done. Then the moment he hears from the Lord that you do austerity, tapa, then he begins doing it. After so many years of tapasya, he would see the Lord face to face. After seeing the Lord, he would understand that the Lord is present in every atom. Andantarastu paramanu chayam. He personally writes in Brahma Samhita that the Lord is actually residing in every atom. What to speak of a living entity? In every kana, atom, every place is there. Now, when the Lord is present at every place, His glories are magnanimous, His actions are great. So, the moment we understand that, our seeing or perceiving or analyzing or assessing this world is totally different. Because we know none of these things are coming just like that. It is actually the mercy, or the glories of the Lord. Now, these glories, when they go within, then we understand the Lord is also present in His names. Just like Lord is present in Bhagavatam, just like He is present in the heart of the devotees, the Lord is present in the names. And the names has to be chanted with utmost respect. One should hear the names attentively. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra under the guidance has to be done because the sages of the Naimisharanya, they did yajna for 1,000 years, right during the beginning of Kali Yuga. But after all those years of yajna, they personally disclose in Bhagavatam that this is not giving us satisfaction. We feel that something is missing. After doing yajnas, just see the acceptance. That means 1,000 years they did that. That too on a selfless plan. They're not doing it for themselves. They're not in the karma kanda. They're completely doing it on a selfless plan for the benefit of this world. But still, after doing that, they reveal it to Suta Goswami, who's an exalted Vaishnava Acharya, revealed it to him, and then they are revealing it to him, stating that somehow we are not connected to this. Then he begins Bhagavatam. He explains that this is the only thing which gives solace. Then he explains the glories of the holy name. That is the only thing which is beneficial. Now, these personalities, they're discussing because they're not on the platform of faithlessness. Complete faith, full conviction, full acceptance of the process. Now, to them, when they hear about the glories of the Lord, about the glories of Bhagavatam, about the glories of the devotees, about the glories of the holy name, then it makes sense. Because both are in the same plane. They're accepting the truth as it is, without any tinge in it. So when the discussion happens in that plane, then there is no problem to that. There's no offense in that. Because what is happening there, their inquiry spirit is very honest. They immediately said, 1,000 years. 1,000 years we did yajna. Because in Kali Yuga, that process of 1,000 years of meditation, of 1,000 years of performing yajna, that will not give tangibility. Now the same yajna was done in the previous yugas, where they elevate themselves, they realize themselves, and then they went back home, back to Godhead. But in this yuga, the essence is Shravana and Kirtana. Chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, understanding what is the importance of it, get trained up in the process, then move forward. Because the Kali is what? Short life. Now earlier yugas, they used to live for longer duration of time. But in this yuga, it is very short. So through that short time, so our Acharyas, Supreme Lord, he gives the best process to chant Hare Krishna with surrender. That is the best process in this Kali. But the chanting goes deep when the faith increases more and more. The moment we begin hearing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we're actually with the Lord. It's a beautiful statement. Spiritual Master tells, oh, while chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you will get a desire that after chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra also you want to be with Krishna. Because this entire chanting process, we are actually with the Lord. We're taking His association. That is a mercy which we have been given. So when we are absorbed in that, then eventually what happens? After chanting Hare Krishna also, we want to have that consciousness. During our duties, during our chores, during going to office, coming back again participating in the process, we will get that desire. So slowly, eventually, slowly but steadily, all the sinful tendencies, they do not stay. They definitely do not stay. Yesterday, we were discussing an important aspect where four vital elements are required to actually deepen our process in Krishna consciousness. But this is the first time Krishna is telling Arjuna in chapter 2 that the essence, how the essence can be established. First thing is Durena Vere Karma. Durena means just go away from that sinful tendencies. Krishna is telling, just go away from that sinful tendencies. This comes in chapter 2 of Gita. He personally telling, just go away, just don't stay in that. Durena Vere Karma, that's not our business. Don't even think about it. Just completely go away from that. Avare karma means sinful tendencies, the thoughts itself. Just go away from that. And then he says, cultivate buddhi yoga, which is knowledge in Krishna consciousness. Buddhi yoga is a process where we actually connect to the Lord through knowledge. And then through that connection, through that knowledge, we perform devotional service. Now, what are we doing? One side, we are avoiding the sinful actions and activities. And on the other side, what are we trying to do is, we try to aspire that buddhi yoga. Now, through that buddhi yoga, what is happening is, that buddhi yoga is actually helping us establish that relationship with the Lord. Because the person doing an action with knowledge and without knowledge, there is a lot of difference. For example, one person comes and tells us, you just do this. We don't know any of those details. Just doing it. We are doing it, but when we know why we are doing it, we can put our heart more into it. We don't know the big picture. Just like Brahmaji, he didn't know why he was kept there. Lord just told him to do tapa. No, he doesn't have the full picture. That not just he, there are unlimited Brahmajis in this creation. That he understands later. When Krishna calls all the Brahmajis of various planets, when our planet Brahmaji goes to the Lord, that he realizes later. So when the picture is not fully being manifested, we don't know. We do it out of respect to the person who told us. But we really don't know that. So, likewise, in the Buddhi Yoga principle, dear devotees, when we come to that plane of complete understanding, complete knowledge, not partial knowledge, complete knowledge. When complete knowledge comes into our understanding, then what happens? Our actions will be, our services will be in a better way. Just like when sadhaka like us, when we understand the glories of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we do it with more. They're stating that, oh, the moment I hold the beats, that means Krishna is there with me. The moment I say Hare Krishna, that means Krishna is there with us. He's not away. He's staying. He comes. He comes into our consciousness. Because what are we doing? We are chanting the names of the Lord. We're chanting the names of Lord Radha and Krishna. Hare and Krishna. That means they are inviting us to come to the internal energy of the Lord. Just like Jiva, who is in the Tatastha, the marginal potency, he can stay in the external energy and he can also stay in the internal energy. It depends on his desire, what he wants. Because Lord gives us that independence. He gives us the choices. So whoever selects the choices, Lord is very pleased with them. I'll tell a beautiful example in these lines. All the Devi Devatas are there, dear devotees. There's so many Devi Devatas. Brahmaji, Lord Shiva, exalted personalities, right? Now, these personalities, they have so much intelligence that they are completely absorbed in serving the Lord. That is one state. And then there is another state who are demonic, asura. Sura, asura. Asura means demonic, demonic mentality. They are also completely absorbed in their thing. But the jiva who is in the marginal, who's kept in the marginal potency, tatastha, this jiva is given a choice. Just like Krishna is telling here to Arjuna that cultivate this buddhi yoga. That means it's a choice. That means consciously we are trying to use that choice. Because in the background we have a desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. In the background we have a desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. We have that choice. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to use the choice in right way. So Prahlad Maharaj, he used the choice completely for the pleasure of the Lord. That means no matter he was kept in so many situations, he completely used it. And that pleased the Lord so much. And then he licks Prahlad Maharaj. He gives the mercy to him. And this selection of choice is far more pleasing to the Lord than the persons who are doing, than the Devi Devatas who are doing their actions. Because here Lord has given them the powers to do that. Lord Shiva is given that power to do the annihilation. Lord Brahmaji is given that power to do the creation. Indra, Chandra, Varuni, Vayu, they've given so much powers by the Lord to do that. But here the marginal energy, the jiva who is there in the marginal energy, he doesn't have any of those powers. Does he have, do we have any of those powers? We do not have any of those powers, but he gives us that independence and those choices. When those independence and then the choices, when it is used for the Lord, then he's sold out to that devotee. Now that is the whole point. Krishna is telling Arjuna to cultivate the buddhi yoga. Because he's teaching just like a child, he's teaching, just like a father teaches a child. This is how you need to ride the cycle. You need to balance. I will hold from the back, but eventually you should balance. So the father will hold the child in the back. Then the child is riding the cycle. Or we say bicycle, whatever, bike here in US. So he's riding. Eventually what happens? He will leave. The father will leave, thinking that he has confidence in his son now. So likewise, when we see that, literally this came into the consciousness. That the Lord is actually helping all of us, everyone. Because the moment we cultivate that buddhi yoga, then what happens is, that means we are knowing the importance of chanting of Hare Krishna. We are knowing the importance of the process of hearing. We are knowing the importance of doing our services. When we know that, then what happens? Then he tells another thing. Because until buddhi yoga is established, he will not tell the other thing. First he says, go away from the sinful tendencies and then cultivate this buddhi yoga. When that buddhi yoga is cultivated, that means developing that knowledge, and then through that knowledge serving. That means we are convinced, we should be convinced fully to the core of the heart. The moment we say Hare Krishna, Krishna is there with us. Krishna is there. Now, to keep Krishna with us, we need to have right consciousness. He's there. We can realize that. Just be up. The moment you are completely absorbed in the holy name, you will do ajapa also. What is ajapa means? Unconsciously you'll chant. Unconsciously you'll remember the Lord. Unconsciously you'll meditate His pastimes. Unconsciously you'll remember His glories. Unconsciously we'll see what He's doing in our life. It goes in the background, but it is happening. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Happens. That's why consciously we should put that effort of 2 hours every day of chanting. So that's the time for us with the Lord. And that comes through cultivating Buddhi Yoga. And then he says, Shravana, then he says, after cultivating this Buddhi Yoga, then he says, this is what you need to do. The third step is surrender. Because naturally, what is happening? There, through the principles of Buddhi, when we apply, then we understand this is the only process for me. Then Krishna says, then you surrender. This is the first time Krishna personally telling Arjuna to surrender. Now, Arjuna was already established in that plane before. Through Karpanya dosha pahata sabha. Shishyasayam sadhamam tam prapannam. He is submitting. Arjuna is submitting at that point to his father, to the Lord, Supreme Master. Now Krishna is conveying the same thing, but he is adding the details which has to be added. That you cultivate first this knowledge, then you can come to the plane of surrender. Sharanam. Sharanam means what? Surrender. And then after that he says, do not go into the fruitive mentalities again. Just like a father, at the beginning he says, don't do any sinful activities, and in the end he says, do not ever go back to the fruitive activities. Never do it. Because this surrender is just like this process of surrender is just not like, oh, today I'm going to surrender. Just like I was just talking to one of, just like in baptism, they say that the Holy Spirit is coming, and then now everything is gone. You're all the sins are cleaned off. Now you're baptized. This process of Krishna consciousness is not like that. It's not like that kind of a process. It's a very practical science, which our acharyas are giving. It's not like a one-day thing. Okay, today I'm baptized, and then from today I'm this, I'm that. No, it's not like that. The desire which is there in the heart, they remove that. For that, Buddhi Yoga has to be cultivated. The roots have to be removed, uprooted. Everything has to be removed from the roots. Until that point of time, the next thing will not be established. So this is the way. It's a very beautiful science, actually. When I was thinking about this, I mean, how beautiful this is. Krishna so mercifully giving everyone an opportunity. Prabhupada so mercifully sharing. It's very beautiful. First he says, free from that, then cultivate the knowledge, then come to the plane of surrender. Then he says, do not commit any fruitive. Do not be fruitive. Such a beautiful thing. This is a science. This we need to understand. Because when the jnana goes more, then the process becomes natural. Consciously, and unconsciously we'll be there with them. That is the science. That is the science. Just like Brahmaji, he didn't know what to do first. And then later on, the moment he heard about tapasya, he's doing tapasya. And then Prabhupada writes there, through Brahmaji's tapasya, Lord was immensely pleased. And Prabhupada says that one should aspire for doing that tapasya. Then immediately a question comes, oh, okay, if I feel that I am doing tapasya, will that work? No. Because for Brahmaji, Lord has personally gave us. For us also, Srila Prabhupada is personally giving us. Do the tapasya. Get up early in the morning. Chant Hare Krishna. What is that? It's a tapasya. Because the Lord, nobody might be watching. The Lord is watching. Definitely is watching. Just like he's been said, Andantarastu Paramanu Chayantastam. It means he's there at every atom. Is he not there in our heart? Yes, he's there. He's watching. I know it is difficult. For some days it might be difficult to get up in the morning. But if you are still doing it for their happiness, then he's watching. Then his vision turns. Because we are not getting up or we are not doing for our upliftment, we are doing it to please the Acharya. He immediately sees. When we do for their happiness, for the pleasure of our acharyas, then what happens is naturally within that our happiness is also there. Just like once one waters the root of the tree, the leaf which is there on the plant, that is also taken care. We are like a leaf, some part in the tree. Just by watering the root, we are also nourished. We are also satisfied in the heart. And then later through that tapasya, Brahmaji got the perfection. He saw the Lord personally. First you will see the Lord's unlimited faces, unlimited hands, unlimited everything. Just like Arjuna would see the universal form, Brahmaji would also see similar form. And then later Lord comes and then he shook hands with him. Because he is pleased with that tapasya. Then he gives that power, empowerment. Now take all these things. Now I'm giving you all these powers. Now you do the creation. I will give you all the intelligence for doing this. Hare Krishna. I'd like to stop here. Anyone would like to add anything? Any comments? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. If nobody has any questions or comments, I would like to do the Brindavani.
Hare Krishna. Yes, please continue. Hare Krishna.
Okay.